Today on Running to Him.
How we treat other believers says a lot about our walk with God. Today we will read Nehemiah 5 through 9 and concentrate on chapter 5, verses 1 through 6. Nehemiah 5, 1 through 6 says, Now there was a great outcry of the people and their wives against the Jewish brothers. For there were those who said, Our sons and our daughters are many, and therefore let us get grain that we may eat and live. There were others who said, We are mortgaging our fields, our vineyards, and our houses that we might get grain because of the famine. Also, there were those who said, We have borrowed money for the king's tax on our fields and our vineyards. Now our flesh is like the flesh of our brothers, our children are like their children. Yet behold, we are forcing our sons and daughters to be slaves, and some of our daughters are forced into bondage already. We are helpless because our fields and our vineyards belong to others. Then I was very angry when I heard their outcry and these words. Well, the situation in Judah was serious. Many of the men had dedicated themselves to building Jerusalem's wall and didn't have time to plant their crops. This led to a situation where some of the other wealthier Jews were taking advantage of the situation. They were forcing people to mortgage their land or even sell their daughters into servanthood. And while this was acceptable under Jewish law, it was an action of last choice. So, in addition to this, the lenders were charging an interest on the loans that they made to the people. The Torah, Pentateuch, prohibits this practice in three places: Exodus 22:25, Leviticus 25:35 through 38, and Deuteronomy 23:19 through 20. The Leviticus passage reads, Now, in a case of a countryman of yours becomes poor, and his means with regard to your falter, then you are to sustain him like a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with you. Do not take usurious interest from him, but revere your God, that your countryman may live with you. You shall not give him your silver at interest, nor your food for gain. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. Now, the law also allowed servanthood for certain provisions. So Leviticus 25, verses 47 through 55 reads, Now if the means of a stranger or a sojourner with you becomes sufficient, and a countryman of yours becomes so poor with regard to him as to sell himself to a stranger who is sojourning with you, or to the other descendants of stranger's family, then he shall have redemption rights after he has been sold. One of his brothers may redeem him, or his uncle's son may redeem him, or one of his blood relatives from his family may redeem him, or if he prospers, he may redeem himself. He then, with his purchase, shall calculate from the year that he sold himself up to the year of Jubilee, and the price of his sale shall correspond to the number of years. It is like the days of a hired man that he shall be with him. If there is still many years, he shall refund part of his purchase price in proportion to his own redemption. And if few years remain until the year of Jubilee, he shall still calculate with him. In proportion to his years, he is to refund the amount for his redemption. Like a hired man, year by year shall be with him, and he shall not rule over him with severity in your sight. Even if he is not redeemed by these means, he shall go out in the year of Jubilee, and he and his sons with him. For the sons of Israel are my servants, and my servants who I brought out from the land of Egypt. I am the Lord, your God. Now, should we as Christians abide by these rules? Should we charge interest to other believers? Should we force other Christians to mortgage their lives and or their possessions so that they might live? And what, if any, interest are we able to charge? Because we are under the law, these laws or rules don't apply to us. But something else may apply. Laws are based on principles. If a believer who is in need comes to another believer, that believer should do anything in their power to help that person. Whether a Christian should lend money tied to an interest rate is a personal question for each believer. My personal position is that God is the owner of all my possessions, and therefore anything I lend to a person is a part of a ministry that God brought to me. And so, if it is never repaid, that's between God and the other person. My job is to be ready to serve God with anything He has given me.
Thank you for listening. We pray that today's devotion was meaningful to you. We would love to hear from you. You can use either Facebook or YouTube to like, subscribe, share, and tell others about us. If you would like to contact us, you can reach me at phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.